The Ebo Air V3 is a pet toy robot and a toy robot pet, and a roving security guard drone, and a helpful daily reminder system. It is all of these things, and yet not really any of them either. It's been living in our kitchen for the past 2 weeks, and I'm still not really sure what it's good for. Join me, James Bruce, in today's Euro review and see if you can figure out what it's for yourself. Let's start at a superficial hardware level. It's a lot smaller than I expected, a mostly spherical thing with a diameter of about 9.5 centimeters. It moves around using these 2 tracks on the base, and it's self-righting if it falls over. There's an LED screen on the front here, which seems to always show various colored hearts. There's a camera, 1080p, there's even a small laser module aimed somewhere down and in front of the Ebo. There's a speaker inside it, coming out the back, and it has a horrendously cute robotic anime voice. Finally, it has a hole in the top in which you can put various colours of silicon feathers. The box also contains a charging cable and dock, which works like a robot vacuum dock. It drives onto it and then charges from the pins underneath. It also emits an infrared signal so that Ebo can find home, but don't expect any complex 3D mapping of your environment. In terms of navigation, it's actually a lot dumber than your average RoboVac, though it does have a distance sensor and won't sort of run into your pets. Alright, so I've enabled Ebo's anti-drop steering feature. Let's see how that goes. Let's try... Oh! Ebo, you're safe. How about backwards? Ow, Ebo! Yeah, ow indeed. So, there you go. We don't have an anti-drop sensor on the back. You can see one on the sides though, and on the front. So let's try from the side. Oop! I keep thinking you're going to fall, mate. How about from diagonal? Oh, that worked. I just can't fool you, can I? Now in this case it won't actually go any further because it detects this metal beam here using some sort of distance sensor. You can see it sort of highlighted there. However, I suspect it's not going to work on carpets because they're a bit... the sensor won't fire quick enough, basically. Ow, Ebo! Yeah, ow, sorry guy. In order to do anything with the Ebo, you will need to use the Ebo app. Now, as expected for a device that both allows you to communicate in real time and acts as a home security guard, the Ebo app requires every permission your phone can possibly offer. Microphone, location, network, photos, camera, the lot. You'll also need to create an account and verify your email address. Twice. If any of this concerns you, maybe don't purchase a robot with a camera on it, especially one that's designed to watch your home and provide a remote video feed of your pets. You numpty. But what does Ebo actually do? There's a lot of features offered, so I'm just going to go over each one and show you. Starting from the least cool to the most cool. You can set voice reminders, so at certain times of day it'll tell you to do certain things. You'll find this in the functions part of the app, bizarrely. And you can only choose from specific reminders. It won't synthesize your own text or anything like that. We all know what would happen if you could do that.
Hi, it's time to...
You can have one for, say, go to bed, get up, drink water, all things that the average functioning human probably doesn't need to be told to do. But pro tip for those of you who don't know, your body has a built-in reminder system when you need to take a drink. It's called being thirsty. You can also set it up in random pet play mode, in which it just runs around very randomly, bashes into things, occasionally turns on the laser, spins around, gets flustered, cries for attention, then goes home. Lottie, aren't you going to play with Ebo? No. Boring. It can also automatically take videos when it's identified a pet. You made him sad now. My dog was amused by the laser for all of 5 seconds, then he ignored it, like he does every other robot that makes its way into the house. He was not amused. Perhaps cats would be more playful, I don't really know. The feather on top, of which there are a number of different colours included for the more discerning of pets, comes with a warning that it might be eaten and cause damage to your pet, so it seems like a bizarre inclusion. You might just want to not use a silicon feather if your animal is not the smartest. Even more bizarrely though is that Ebo will only do this pet play behaviour on a specific and very constrained schedule, namely 8 AM to 12 and 2 PM to 9 PM. You can't change this schedule, that's it, and supposedly it's there to ensure you don't get woken up, but presumably you know when you're sleeping, and it should really be up to you to tell it that. For those who work night shifts and are sleeping in the day, for instance, you're screwed. You can also set it up as a security robot at any time you like, for a maximum of 3 minutes each time, and it will then roam around the house randomly and record and alert you if it sees animals or humans. You can set up multiple trips though throughout the day, so it's not just 3 minutes of roaming security per day. You can also tell it to record when it's sat on the dock, and this time for a much longer period. So if you go out for 3 hours a day, it can do that and it'll record the whole time or just when it sees someone. However, all of these are managed on a daily schedule and not, for instance, initiated by voice commands. So you can't say, "Hey Ebo, guard mode." I mean, you don't even listen. That would be cool though. You can remote control it from anywhere in the world too, but this was very hit and miss for me. The buttons were often unresponsive and there was a lot of latency, but it's difficult to say if this is the fault of the device or just my internet. I use Starlink, and although the throughput is fast, it tends to have pretty high latency, so it's possible that's introducing the problem, and I won't judge it too much on that. But should you buy the Enobot Ebo Air 3? The concept of a remote control cat toy is less compelling to me, but then I'm not inclined to call my pets fur babies either. And any cats I have had in the past were allowed to roam freely outside in the leafy suburbs, so they wouldn't have needed a robot to play with them anyway. If you're not in a situation where you can allow that, then perhaps this is a good solution, but perhaps a better one is replacing your actual pet with a robot instead. It's cute, it'll love you just as much as a cat, and it's easier to post pictures of it on Instagram. As for a security guard, the concept is interesting, and Amazon is also trialling a similar flying drone that can roam around your house and investigate things or patrol on a set path. Yes, it's terrifying, but frankly that makes more sense than a small floor-bound kickable robot. And honestly, is this going to replace a visible and obvious security camera at the front door to deter intruders? No. Ultimately, as cute as the Evo is, it suffers from a split personality. It just can't decide what it wants to be when it grows up, and consequently it's good at none of what it aims to be. It also suffers from very poorly designed and badly translated interface. If it sees an animal while roaming, for instance, it will alert you that your pets are infested during the cruise. It implements random features that really have no relation to anything, and it has other odd restrictions on the main features. There's so much that it could have been, but sadly isn't. The truth is, it's really easy to fall in love with a stupidly cute robot with a little heart on the front of it. Who hasn't done that? I know I was enamoured when I first heard about it, but sadly, like any relationship you rush into, you'll probably end up regretting inviting it into your home, because now it knows your address and won't stop texting you. Take this as a warning from the ex. Don't stick your USB-C cable in crazy. I'm James Bruce, you've been watching MUO Reviews at makeusoft.com, and if you enjoyed this review and found it helpful, please hit like and consider subscribing for more honest opinions of the weirdest, coolest, or just must-have tech. Until next time.
I'm going home to charge.
No, you're not. I was in the kitchen. Well, good luck with that.